I'm Kelly Davis, 32, a freelance marketer from Seattle. Tonight was supposed to heal us. My mom's 60th. A family truce under warm restaurant lights. I brought a small velvet box. My heart thudded like a trapped bird. They stood to toast. Glasses lifted. Smiles bright. To Jennifer, our only child, the words slapped the room flat. Applause erupted around my silence. I tasted metal, then memory. Birthday candles. I blew out alone. Report cards pinned for her, not me. I stayed seated, burning. Dorothy, my grandmother, watched from the shadows. She's the one who always saw me. My fingers found the box. It felt heavier than truth. Have you ever faced something like this? Tell me in the comments. I rose, chair scraping like thunder. I slid the box toward Dorothy. And then Jennifer's hand shot out. They erased me with a toast, so I answered with a choice. Top of form, bottom of form. I was 9 when I learned what being invisible felt like. Jennifer brought home straight A's. I brought home solid B's. They pinned hers to the fridge. Mine stayed in my backpack. Mom laughed to a neighbor once. Jennifer's our scholar. I stood in the hallway clutching my math test. A B+. My throat burned, but I smiled anyway. School wasn't better. In 5th grade, I made the spelling bee finals. I practiced for weeks. The night of the competition, I scanned the crowd. No mom. No dad. They were at Jennifer's piano recital. The chair I saved for them stayed empty. I won 2nd place. Mrs. Larson gave me a pity smile and a ribbon. I hid it in my bag, pretending it didn't matter. But it did. Every birthday, every holiday reminded me I was the extra. At 12, I begged for a small party, just an arcade afternoon. Mom said, "We're too busy, honey. Maybe next year." I spent that day alone, eating a cupcake Grandma Dorothy baked. She showed up late, cardigan buttoned wrong, smile warm. She sat beside me, brushing crumbs off my cheek. "You've got a voice, Kelly," she said. Even if they don't hear it. That night, she gave me a journal. Its first page read, "Write until they see you." I filled it with dreams I didn't dare speak. Page after page of hope disguised as stories. Meanwhile, Jennifer's 12th birthday was a spectacle. A DJ, balloons, cake taller than me. I helped set up tables, invisible in my own home. She unwrapped gifts under flashing lights. I watched from the corner. My gift came a week late, a pair of socks and an apology. Those years carved something quiet inside me. Not hate. Not envy. Just a need to matter somewhere. To someone. They taught me that silence hurts, but it also builds fire. By 16, I'd stopped waiting for their applause. I learned to build in silence. The debate team became my escape. Words were the only place I mattered. Dorothy drove me to every practice, her thermos steaming, old sedan humming through the rain. She'd sit in the bleachers cheering quietly, like belief could be whispered and still be enough. When I won regionals, I called home. Dad answered. "That's nice, Kelly," he said, then passed the phone to Mom, who was busy planning Jennifer's college party. I stood there holding my trophy, listening to their laughter in the background. That's when I realized pride doesn't echo the same for everyone. Matthew Harris came into my life that same year. We were partners in history class, a project on the Civil War that somehow changed mine. He saw me. Not the shadow beside Jennifer. Just me. He waited after debate matches, rain or shine, handing me his hoodie and a smile that said, "You're enough." When my parents skipped my 17th birthday to take Jennifer on her college tour, Matthew showed up with a pizza and a playlist of every song I loved. We sat on the porch till midnight, laughing like we'd stolen time. That night, the world felt kind for once. I started dreaming differently after that. Not of being seen, but of standing on my own. Dorothy kept pushing me. "You don't need their spotlight," she'd say. You make your own. So I did. I went to community college, paid tuition with freelance design gigs. Jennifer was posting photos in front of ivy-covered walls. I was building a life on coffee and grit. When I landed my first client, a small business needing marketing help, I worked all night polishing every detail. I emailed my parents proud. No reply. Just a forwarded link days later, Jennifer's new article in a finance magazine. I congratulated her, like I always did. She never replied either. But Matthew and Dorothy celebrated with me. We went to the pier, ate fries out of paper cups, and toasted with soda like champagne. Dorothy's laugh carried over the waves. "You're doing it, Kelly," she said. "You're becoming who you were meant to be." Her words settled into me like a promise. For years, I grew in their quiet faith. Late nights, side hustles, learning how to rise without applause. I didn't realize then that silence was preparing me, teaching me how to stand steady when the storm finally came. If you've been through this, you're not alone. I wasn't chasing their love anymore. I was building proof I could live without it. By the time I turned 32, I'd made peace with quiet victories. A steady stream of freelance work. Clients who trusted me. Enough saved to buy a used Tesla. A quiet symbol that I'd made it without them. So when Mom's 60th birthday came, I wanted to show up different. No expectations. Just presence. I spent weeks choosing that velvet box, something meaningful, something that might finally bridge the years between us. The restaurant glowed with soft lights and chatter. Seattle's drizzle tapped against the windows. Jennifer stood at the center table, radiant as ever, her laughter pulling people in like gravity. Mom fussed over her necklace. Dad clapped her shoulder with pride. They looked like a portrait I'd been cropped out of. I found Grandma Dorothy near the back, quiet in her cardigan, hands folded, the only person whose love didn't need proof. I smiled. She smiled back. That was enough, until Mom stood, glass in hand. "To family," she began, her voice smooth, "and to Jennifer, our only child." Applause roared. Glasses clinked. Laughter swelled. And something in me broke clean in half. I rose slowly. My chair scraped against the wood, a sound sharp enough to slice the noise. Every face turned. Heart pounding, I walked toward Dorothy's table, set the velvet box in front of her. "This is for you," I said softly. "Open it later," but Jennifer's hand darted out. Her smile vanished. "What's this?" she snapped, snatching the box before Dorothy could move. "Jennifer, don't," I started. But she was already tearing the ribbon, ripping it open like she owned the moment. The room fell silent. Inside, a folded note. She opened it, her eyes freezing mid-scan. Her voice cracked. "It's a bank transfer, $75,000. To Grandma?" Gasps scattered around the table. Mom's glass trembled. Dad's jaw tightened. Dorothy's hands shook, tears welling. Jennifer turned on me, eyes blazing. "You're giving that to her? After everything Mom and Dad have done for you?" I met her glare. They taught me what love should cost. Dorothy showed me what it's worth. Mom's voice cut through the tension, sharp, trembling. "Kelly, what is this? You think money fixes distance?" "No," I said quietly. "It honors the one who never made me feel I had to earn love." The air grew heavy. Guests stared. Nobody breathed. Dorothy pressed the note to her chest, whispering, "You didn't have to." "I did," I said. And just like that, the perfect dinner cracked open. They called her my only family, so I showed them who really was. The next morning, my phone buzzed nonstop. Mom's post was everywhere. A photo of her wine glass captioned, "Family is about loyalty, not stunts." Dozens of comments. All vague. All aimed at me. She'd turned her hurt into performance. And Jennifer? She took it further. A friend of hers, Laura, posted in a local forum. A story about a daughter who humiliated her family with money. No names, but every detail fit. The comments piled up fast. Words like selfish, dramatic, attention seeker. It spread like fire. I sat staring at the screen, my hands trembling. Then my cousin Michael called. "Kelly, she's feeding the story," he said. "They're painting you as the villain." I pressed my palm to my forehead, the ache pulsing behind my eyes. Jennifer had always owned the narrative, but this time I wasn't backing down. By afternoon, the doorbell rang. I opened it to find Mom and Dad on my porch, their faces hard, their love weaponized. "We need to talk," Mom said, pushing past me into the living room. Dad followed, silent but seething. "You have to undo that transfer," she started. $75,000 to Dorothy? "You blindsided us." "It's my money," I said. "It's my choice." Dad's voice cut like ice. "This isn't about money. It's about family. You humiliated us in front of everyone." I laughed, soft, bitter. "You did that the moment you called Jennifer your only child." Mom's eyes glistened. "That was a mistake," she whispered. "You don't fix pain with grand gestures." "No," I said, steady now. "I fixed it by honoring the only person who's ever shown up for me." Her expression cracked. Tears, anger, guilt, all fighting to stay hidden. "You're punishing us," she said. "You think this makes you better?" "No," I whispered. "It just makes me free." Dad stood, his tone final. "This isn't how we do things in this family." I met his gaze. "Then maybe I don't belong in this family." They left soon after, the silence in their wake louder than any fight. I sank into the couch, shaking. Not from fear, but release. For once, I'd said everything they refused to hear. That night, I texted Dorothy. "You okay?" Her reply came fast. "More than okay. You gave me something I'll never forget." I stared at her words until tears blurred my phone screen. For years, I'd chased their love like air. Now I was finally breathing without it. They wanted me to undo the transfer, but I was the one who'd finally broken free. Top of form, bottom of form. 4 months passed before peace found me. The noise faded. The rumors died. And what remained was real. I spent Christmas at Dorothy's house. Her little living room glowed with soft lights, gingerbread in the oven, Michael humming old carols off key. We laughed until the air felt lighter. No tension. No judgment. Just family, the kind that chooses you. Dorothy hung the framed banknote on her mantel, not for the number, but for what it meant. "I'm proud of you, Kelly," she said. Not for the money. For the courage. Outside, the city shimmered. Inside, I felt whole for the first time. Michael poured cocoa and grinned. "You built this, you know," he said. "A life that's yours." I smiled. He was right. For so long, I'd chased love that wouldn't stay. Now love was sitting right in front of me, steady, quiet, true. News trickled in about my parents. They'd sold the big house. Jennifer had lost her promotion. Her perfect image cracked. I didn't celebrate their fall. I just accepted it. We all live with the choices we make. I used to think forgiveness meant reunion. But sometimes, it just means letting go. Dorothy once told me, freedom doesn't always come with applause. Sometimes it's just the sound of your own breath. She was right. To anyone watching this, if you've ever felt invisible, if you've been the quiet one in a loud family, know this. You are not alone. You are enough. Tell me in the comments where you're watching from. And if this story found you, subscribe, because somewhere out there, someone needs your voice too. Family isn't blood. It's who shows up when no one else does.